What's up, everybody? Welcome to ITG Daily, the show that brings you the hottest in gaming news. I'm Drew Bosley, and that's the one, the only. It's Happy Friday, Scott Savage. Scott, what's going on, man?
Oh, my lighting is awful today. I'm seeing it the more
Hey.
I look now.
Right? See, I'm like, something's off today. I don't get what's going on. Once you get that light hooked
Yeah.
up, though, you'll be just as bright as me, my friend.
I gotta rotate the house a little bit more.
Yeah, hang tight, everybody. Scott, be right back.
It's almost there.
Dude, everybody can join us live every day, Monday to Friday, over on twitch.tv/theofficialITG, as well as YouTube at youtube.com/theofficialITG. But if you can't join us live, hit us up later inside the game.ca podcast services and TV streaming networks around the globe. Corey right now is slacking me, and it threw me off, Scott.
Our internal channels are live.
yeah. Coming up on today's show, Xbox is getting a zombie game and is not State of Decay 3. Where is that game? Nintendo Switch, continues to top charts. The platform will not stop selling. The Switch is unstoppable.
They're not going to replace it if we keep buying it, everyone.
And that's the kind of where we'll be getting at in this discussion coming up in a couple minutes. And then 343 says they're still on track for Halo in 2023.
Well, there's
trying,
still
man.
A few things left to add.
They're definitely trying. Let's get into it. As Xbox Zombie MMO the day before gets official gameplay reveal. This was actually done over at CES. No. Yeah, CES? Yeah, it was a CES. Let's get into it. This is Ben Carey over Pure Xbox. We've seen much footage. We have not seen much footage of the zombie survival game the day before just yet. But the development team has finally showcased a new gameplay trailer at CES 2023. Courtesy of NVIDIA, the team has shown us a bit more what to expect from the day before ahead of its PC and current gen console launch. It's a pretty short clip, but the gameplay tucked in here looks promising so far. We must stress that this is PC footage intended to showcase NVIDIA's latest ray tracing tech. But the game is still coming to Xbox Series X and S and PlayStation 5 at some point as well. I will throw that in. Scott, there's a couple things. This is actually, we've got a release date as well. March 1st is when we're getting this. Dude, It's not that far off.
Very close.
It is, and we've seen very little. Right, so back in May of 2022, the dev team confirmed a switch over to Unreal Engine 5 development in order to transition to a more advanced and adapted open world engine. So let's see if this really works. I have seen a bevy of concerns across the internet about this game, which is unfortunate. So I took a little bit of a deep dive this morning and go, like, what is everybody really worried about? When you first take a look at this game, it reminds me a little bit of DayZ, which is nothing wrong with that. It reminds me a lot of the city structure of The Division. I was like, is this, no, this isn't more The Division, is it? No, it's not. It's called The Day Before. I'm like, okay, so they incorporated zombies is what we're getting into, right? And then as I start diving into the concerns and the worries of people, and what they're getting down to is that the company building The Day Before have essentially taken what looks like they've done is they've gone in and go, we like The Division. We are going to model this version of The Division into our game. Oh, it continues, Scott. It gets worse. Spider-Man Miles Morales has an amazing cinematic gameplay moment of you barreling through a mall.
Yeah, I've seen the videos actually.
Well, it looks very familiar to a mall scene in The Day Before. Yes.
Yeah, this is getting strange. I think I understand.
I'm not done, Scott.
Oh no.
There is Life is Strange. They had this spin-off. I can't remember what it's called off the top of my head. They had a spin-off of two brothers, and in it is a gas station location. In the initial reveal of The Day Before, the truck breaks down, the Jeep breaks down at a gas station. That looks very similar to the game. They keep copying and pasting, dude. So the gas station looks just like the gas station from Life is Strange, to the point where the sign on top of the gas station is almost identical.
Oh, how do? But you know what you're doing at that stage, right? So how do you let? Where's the senior editor team to catch those?
There's concerns too that the very first gameplay slice we saw was very curated, and now as we get a little bit further, it doesn't look as pretty as it initially did.
Oh,
A lot of people go way back to Watch Dogs when that was first
oh,
revealed, right? You remember
I
that?
was thinking Killzone is where I went back to.
There's
A
another one
little
too,
further.
right? So they give you this little vertical slice of how impressive this game is, and then the further it gets into development, we're like, okay, we got to get this thing done, and then it's just out. Here's my other concern: is that the team behind the day before has launched games into early access and then dropped it like a bad habit.
Uh,
Yeah,
I'm getting a Blue Box Studios feeling out of this without digging that whole thing up again. It's just a bit borrowed here and there. What is it? It's something old, something new, something borrowed, something blue.
Right? Yeah, we're not getting married here, Scott. When you get a little bit further, the gunplay as well almost feels like it's not a real person. Seems like it's not a real person operating the game. Like it's very, this is how it's structured, so everything looks like it's supposed to at top notch, with actually just to be more presentation than actual gameplay. And then you get into the muzzle flash. If you break it down, I saw this one individual this morning break it down. I can't recall. Force Gaming, I believe it is. Check him out on YouTube. Dude, he broke it down to the point where when the flash comes up, it's literally just a JPEG image that goes around the gun and then disappears. Like there's no animation in between where you take a look at it, you break it down in other games. Like you get this bit of a flash buildup and then it breaks down and it keeps going, right? Dude, it's just like a JPEG flash.
It just pops on for frames.
It's the same little bubble each and every time. Like there is no animation steps in between. Yeah. It's man, because this is unfortunate because I was really looking forward to, I'm like, dude, this is coming to Xbox. Yo, there's me, there's Scott, there's Kyle, there's Corey.
Hey, like, that reminds me, we played a bit of DayZ, didn't we?
Yes, you and Nate.
Or not DayZ, sorry, that was
yeah, no, you and Nate did it.
World War Z is what I'm thinking. You
yes, I did
playing. Yeah. Rare.
That's right. I did that. I also played Back 4 Blood. So I'm branching out, Scott. I'm branching out, and The Last of Us is still my number one. But it's still
can't fault you there.
No, you cannot. I'll take that to the grave, and everybody be there with me. Dead by zombies.
That's how I'm gonna go.
It's game development is not easy by any stretch of the means, but it's concerning when you start picking apart and not making the game your own. Right?
Yeah.
You just you start copying everybody else's to make it yours. Now granted, if you model New York City, right? Like you can model some of those buildings that are going to look very similar to those buildings, and especially now in today's technology leap forward, especially with Unreal Engine 5, you can almost copy and paste that whole landscape into a game now, right? How do you make it look, dude? But that's what I mean. Like, it so struck me as this is the Division. Here we go. Like,
yeah.
And I was wowed by it. I was impressed. I'm like, okay, cool. It's an MMO. It's a survival game. It's something I'm kind of hunkering for right now. I'm really hungry for a good survival game. The zombie part kind of makes me a little nervous just because I'm not a big fan of zombies and getting spooked like that. But I still want to jump in there, especially if I have friends, right? If we have buddies to go out with, so every night, you, myself, Kyle, Steve joins us, Corey joins us. Like we can have a blast playing this thing. But when they're just what almost feels like blatantly ripping off other studios, that's a little concerning. And I'm hoping that the feedback that's coming in from everybody is wrong. I really do hope it's wrong. Like you even get a little bit of a feel of The Last of Us in this as well. Granted, this is all in kind of one encompassing genre, so maybe that's part of it as well, Scott. But it does kind of make you a little nervous, man. I don't know. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I would understand just based on kind of like you say, a hodgepodge to explain this genre. We're in a city that's going to look like city, and Unreal Engine 5 has probably a lot of the same assets people are using. It's very early on in its life. So that, again, is a little more excusable. But I'm seeing the way this street is structured as they're walking down. I see the Division.
Right? Yeah.
There's almost almost no mistaking it, except I am being mistaken because it's not actually the Division.
It kind of makes me want to go play the Division 2 again. I had a lot
Oh,
of fun with it.
if he does this hand on the car door thing, I'm gonna lose it.
I was waiting for the right. You almost get that sense of that's what's coming next, right? Like, oh, I've already seen this, but hey, look at me, I'm about to close the door. So yeah, we'll see what happens with the day before. Again, I'm still optimistic about the game. I'm looking forward to jumping in with friends and having a good time and see how well it plays. If it is an on-breathing life game experience, this live service is basically kind of what we're getting into, this big MMO landscape. We should be more than just a cityscape, right? We'll be a lot bigger. There'll be a lot more places to travel. When you play the Division, you are like cityscape, cityscape, cityscape. It's hard to break out of some of that. You get into some of the parks and other zones and stuff like that. And dude, as much fun as I have had in there is really about the loot coming back to the guns, right? And your gear, where the day before is you're going out and scavenging for resources to build your house, build your home, and loot for better weapons. And then you also can get encompassed with zombies as well as other players too. So you have this whole almost like a vigor feel when it comes to the opposing players going, okay, are they gonna be friendly or are we in trouble here?
Yeah.
So we'll see.
I wonder if there's proximity chat now to facilitate that, because that can be a lot of fun.
Absolutely. We've seen a lot of it come up with Call of Duty as of lately too, right? Call of Duty prox chat is funny to hear, whether it's a good comment or not.
I usually hear cries for mercy.
Yeah, but Scott, let's get into it as we continue on from Tom Ivan over VGC. Nintendo Switch narrowly topped UK console sales in 2022, while FIFA 23 outsold Modern Warfare 2 to lead the annual software sales charts. FIFA is an unstoppable force by EA. Once they switch from FIFA, Scott, get rid of that brand name, you think it still sells as much?
When was that supposed to happen? Because I know that we talked about that. It must have been more than a year ago now.
It feels like it. I want to say maybe about 6 months ago. So I'm maybe in 2020, the 2024 edition of FIFA, whatever that's going to be, maybe it's no longer called FIFA. And I wonder what that does to the sales charts. If anybody even recognizes that, right? I think that's the other side of it too. Will they even recognize that at the start of it? Or they go, where's FIFA? Where's my FIFA game, right? Like, how deep are they into the world of EA and games as a whole to understand that EA is just about to lose FIFA as a brand because they don't want to pay them something like $4 million or something like that just for the name? Yeah, there's something else. But either way, according to GfK, sales data publishing on gamesindustry.biz, 2 million games consoles were sold in the UK last year, downing 29% compared to 2021. The drop was mainly attributed to PlayStation 5 supply shortages as a decline in Switch sales. Scott, PS5, as of right now, according to Jim Ryan, will be easier to find than ever before. The supply is supposed to be back up and ramping up, so it should be able to help people get into the world of PS5, which is great to see. However, Nintendo's console ended the year as the best-selling console ahead of PS5. In third place, Xbox Series X and S, although fewer than 60,000 units separated the three systems. On the software front, FIFA 23 was last year's best-selling game, ahead of Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2 and LEGO Star Wars The Skywalker Saga. Elden Ring charted at number 4, followed by Grand Theft Auto 5. Who doesn't own this game, Scott?
Yeah, I'm on my third copy now.
Maybe we're the problem. God of War Ragnarok, FIFA 22, Horizon Forbidden West, Red Dead Redemption 2, beautiful game, rest in peace, and Nintendo Switch Sports. I say rest in peace for the online. That's all.
All they have to do is Undead Nightmares 2. Talking about a hole in the zombie game genre.
Yeah. In total, 34.2 million games were sold last year, which was down almost 6% compared to 2021. Also remember, 2021, we were still in the pandemic where everybody was at home. Now things are switched, right? So yeah, of course, numbers are going to drop. People are going back to work. Kids are going back to school. Where people are going outside. Like, things are changing. There's a reason why we see the decline this year, and that is why.
Yeah, it's not video game related, not in my opinion.
No, not at all. Not at all. That's based on the GSD market data, which covers all physical game sales and digital sales from most leading publishers. Over 9.2 million accessories, controllers, cases, and headphones were sold in the UK last year, representing the decline of 13% compared to 2021. The white PS5 DualSense controller was the best-selling accessory ahead of the Midnight Black version. I've got the blue one, and it is beautiful. I love it. Just
I'm
saying.
not certain I've seen one in person yet.
Really? What? Man.
Yeah, I've got
Dude,
friends
you
with
just
one
at
over
my
at the
house
house.
the other day.
Oh, that's true. You know, I'm not even sure I glanced eyes at yours.
Oh, man, I tell you.
Now, maybe you should have that locked up.
Yeah, anybody see my PS5? Again, though, Scott, there it is, the Switch climbing the top charts. If we do not get another Switch this year, how concerned are you? Because we've been told by Nintendo we're getting none other than Zelda 2, right? Tears of the Kingdom this year.
Mm-hmm.
Is that running on old hardware then? Are we seriously not going to run this on Switch 2, Switch Pro, whatever we're going to be playing on next for the Switch?
Yeah, no, that's where it gets concerning for me because the hardware game, Nintendo always kind of beats by their own drum, and they'll catch up whenever it's necessary. And I say catch up, but we've seen that with the Switch. They didn't really make the mark. So it's really puzzling to me that it keeps selling now. We're so long into the life cycle. But when it starts affecting the games, is this why we're not seeing Metroid Prime 4?
Right. Yeah. Right. And granted, I heard this discussion over a few podcasts and stuff saying that games still look beautiful. Like Kirby apparently this year was amazing on the Switch. Xenoblade Chronicles 3 was an incredible experience on the Switch. Then you get into the latest Pokemon games, and those didn't run well on the Switch. Granted, a lot of that, from what I hear, goes back to the studio making it. So it is one of those things, but at the same time...
That's a bit puzzling, too, because I think they've made Pokemon games for the last 100 years.
Well, exactly, right? I think we are starting to reach, at this point, this stage in the game, with us being on PS5, Xbox Series X and S, we are at not only past the PS4 and the Xbox One generation, we are a whole generation already ahead. When the Switch launched, it was already a generation behind. So how do they keep going forward? People keep buying it. They really don't see... I talked to a developer, back in the summertime, and she talked about making her games, and the games they make are adventure games, graphic novel games. Sorry.
Okay.
Which they put on the Switch, and they sell amazingly well. I said, the Switch? She goes, yeah, it doesn't need the hardware power required for them to make their game to put it on the Switch. And people keep buying it. People keep buying the Switch. So if you're Nintendo and you go, we don't need a Switch 2 right now. What for? We are at the top of the charts here with our Switch. The original Switch. Now, granted, we do have the OLED version if you want a prettier screen, but it doesn't bring more power with it at all, right? And at this point, from the gamers side of it, we just want something that's more compatible when you talk about the Xbox Series X and S and the PlayStation 5. I feel like we are holding the developers back to a certain extent, right? Because as I said, as I talked to this individual, she's like, we don't need the power. We not for our style of game. But I'm like, how much better would Zelda be, Scott, if we had more power under the hood?
Yeah, I wonder because we've never seen it.
No, right? Yeah. So I'm wondering. I also heard from analysts that we're not getting a Switch this year at all. They're talking about 2024. It's like, man. So then that means we are playing Zelda on this current Switch, and it's just like, man, why? If you dropped Switch 2 and said you can play it on both platforms, but it's going to be better on the other version, the more current version of the Switch, where would you want to play it?
Oh, that's true. But then again, I look back to Breath of the Wild, and I had Breath of the Wild on Wii U, but I never even touched it.
Oh, man. And Breath of the Wild is an amazing, incredible game that people love, right? Except for yourself.
See, I think that was my issue, that I need to learn from that. I should have got a Switch way back then. I should have switched over.
Ooh, Scott, speaking of switching over, 343 says Halo Infinite's roadmap is still on track for 2023. They're not switching anything. The roadmap we released last year is still our plan. This comes from Liam over at Pure Xbox. It's a new year. Many developers around the globe are already providing development updates. 343 Industries, the team behind Halo Infinite, is also back and has already shared a friendly reminder. In a brief post on social media, 343 senior community manager John told fans the infinite roadmap the company released last year, that's 2022, was still the plan for 2023. This includes the, quote, content and features, end quote, right through to June of 2023. In saying this, it is always subject to change. Quote, just dropping a friendly reminder that the roadmap we released last year is still our plan of record for content and features through June 2023, always subject to change. From March 7th onwards, Spartans can look forward to Halo Infinite's third season, Echoes Within, new maps, new weapons, the M392 Bandit, new equipment, and a new 100-tier battle pass system, Scott. Are you sticking around? Are you in? Are you jumping back? Are you waiting for season 3? Do you even care?
I am waiting for season 3 because I'm still holding on to this Halo. But in the meantime, I've switched back to the Master Chief Collection. I've been playing those Halo games all over again. Yeah, and well, I'm really jumping through memory lane, really, and I just want to enjoy the current Halo with my current team, but it just has dragged on for so long now.
Yeah.
That even the co-op, now that it's out, I still haven't played co-op with anybody because most people have now just moved on to something else.
All left, right? Which is just unfortunate. Yeah. Halo is not the Halo it once was. It's not recognized, I think, as it once was either. I think people have fond memories of it, but that's it.
In my high school, it was religious. But
yeah,
I don't think that's the case anymore.
Not at all. I am concerned for the future of Halo, and I wonder what's that going to do for 343 next iteration of Halo. There's got to be a lot of internal discussions right now, especially with Xbox too, right? Like, this is one of their staple IPs for Xbox, and it's not doing well at all.
Yeah.
So, yeah, a lot of questions and concerns. Scott, I do want to get to another topic before we get going here, because a new leak suggests Discord voice chat could be coming to the PS5 soon. This is David over at PSU. A new leak regarding Discord being fully integrated with PS5 with voice chat has appeared, suggesting that we could very well get close to an announcement finally getting revealed. When Sony and Discord originally announced their collaboration, this is a step many players immediately hoped the two would get to. The new leak comes from data miners who've seen indication of voice chat coming to PlayStation in Discord's code. Very cool, Scott. More opportunities to talk to friends across the board, whether you're a PC, Xbox, or PlayStation.
I've seen somebody leak this. This is months prior ago now, but I can't recall if it was one of the large names in the industry. So I don't want to get that wrong now, but
for sure.
It was essentially, this is confirmation of Discord coming,
which is cool. It's good to see. Lastly, too, Scott, let's get into it. We got, we can do it. The lawsuit against CD Projekt Red over Cyberpunk 2077 settles for $1.85 million. Jeffrey Russo over GamesIndustry.biz. A settlement for $1.85 million has been reached for a class action lawsuit over Cyberpunk 2077, originally received 2 years ago and filed in California. The suit alleged the CD Projekt Red misled investors about the state of the RPG on Xbox and PS4 consoles. In January 2021, the Cyberpunk 2077 maker received a similar lawsuit from the Rosen law firm. Scott, it's finally been settled, but that was unfortunate to see that happen at all.
Yeah, that was an awful blemish on an otherwise great company.
Yeah, no, for sure. Yeah, it is one thing they did kind of
remains to be the only game taken off the PlayStation Marketplace that I'm aware of.
Blows my mind. And we only have one game for today. Scott, what is that game out?
It is We Are the Caretakers, and this is on the Xbox Series consoles.
There you go. You gonna check it out? I haven't even seen what it is.
I'm curious, but being the only release today, I think I will. I think I'll check that out.
There you go. And Scott, just like that, everybody, thank you for hanging out with us. This has been ITG Daily, the show that brings you the hottest in gaming news. You can always join us live over on Twitch and YouTube at the official ITG. But if you can't join us live, hit us up later inside the game.ca podcast services and TV streaming networks around the globe. Until Monday, everybody, enjoy your weekend. I'm Drew. That's Scott. And we'll see you inside the game.